Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I recently got a comment from a viewer that said, I don't even have 10 extra cents to use for prepping, which is heartbreaking. Our experience we've never really gone without. Maybe we missed a meal and we were hungry, but we don't know the real sensation of not having enough, having to scrounge for whatever we have. And it's just heartbreaking to think about that could be something that's spreading everywhere and that it would be everyone's experience. I tried to put together some ideas of how you could still fill your pantry and even some easy meal ideas that can help give us a springboard of new ideas we can think of. If you think times are hard now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it appears to me that it's going to get worse. And so if we don't take the last even 10 cents that we can put together today to prepare more for the future, we're really going to be in trouble. The price of groceries has increased every single month for the last 18 months, which is just alarming. Plus, we all are aware that cans are dented, food is on the shelf that is past its date, prices are ridiculous, and the choices and varieties of foods that we care for are becoming more limited. Where there used to be 100 different kinds of soup, for example, now there's maybe 10. And the amount of soup that's available is just hardly anything at all. So it's a time for us to really hunker down and think about what we can do to provide the foods that we need. And I know most people know that you should try going to a food bank. And that is something you should try. And you should find out if there is more than one food bank in your community that you could easily contact them. Find out if you qualify for some sort of government assistance. And even if you've never had it before, I think you can call them, and for emergencies, they can help get you food. Even if it doesn't mean it's something that will be ongoing, they can help you in an emergency. But you need to Google where that would be. Ask around your community or look over on the internet and find out where those agencies would be in your community. If your children are in school, sign up for the free or reduced lunches. And if it's summertime, be aware that sometimes they're still handing out free lunches to children in parks or playgrounds. And you need to maybe ask about that. And you can look up, even call your school district office. If the schools are closed, the district offices are usually still open. You can ask them about, is there some kind of a lunch program for the kids? Because they'll give them like a sack lunch. It is only for children though, they don't give it to the parents, but that's okay because we want our children to have what they need. Sometimes when I'm in the lower 48 and I spend time in, say, Arizona, lots of the churches will have free meals. Come watch a movie, come have dinner. And they don't charge you anything for it because they're trying to build their fellowship. They're trying to invite you in and help you feel welcome. And so that's something that you could keep in mind, a place that you could go and have a free meal and people are going to be nice to you. So check around and see if that's something that is available to you. Then look for things like outlet stores that they aren't available everywhere, but I know here in Alaska, I go to a little bakery outlet and you can buy a few loaves of bread that are less expensive than in the store. And if you buy even, I think it's 2 things or $5, then they have a whole rack and you're allowed to choose something for free. That can really help give you more food to eat and keep it affordable. But then there's the deal of it costs gas to go to these places. So if you want to do some shopping, make sure that you plan out your errands so that you can leave your home and go here, 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 and then you circle back and you're at home and use the least amount of gas possible. Right now it's summer. Maybe you can find some wild berries, forage for different kinds of plants that you could use in your salad. Maybe in the fall you'll be able to find some mushrooms or some chaga. Find out what grows where you are. One of the benefits of living in Alaska is residents are allowed to have a certain number of fish, and it's a subsistence lifestyle that everybody can get. I think it's 25 fish per family plus 10 more for each member of your family. And if you are disabled or you're elderly, you are allowed to have someone be your proxy and get that fish for you. But you need to check with the Fish and Game and see if you have any kind of those programs where you are. And then hopefully, if you're not able to go get it yourself, you can have someone who can help you. And if you're able to help someone else, wouldn't it be fun to be able to catch a few extra fish and then share? If you know other people have gardens or say apple trees, maybe they'll let you glean them, where after they're done, they'll let you go in and see what's left, or if they have lots of extras, they might allow you to have a shopping bag full of fruit from their trees. And so it's always worth an ask. And if you have friends or neighbors who you know are growing a big garden, find out if you could come and help them with their garden, and then you could share in the bounty. And if you have the opportunity, grow something yourself. I have found seeds even at the Dollar Tree, 4 for $1, and maybe they're $1.25 now. And so they're not that expensive. This isn't really the right time of year to be finding seeds, but if you can, and they're very cheap, maybe it's something that you can still try to grow and provide a little bit of food for yourself. What are some very easy meals to make when you feel like you have no money? How about something as simple as a peanut butter sandwich? You can buy a jar of peanut butter, a jar of jelly, a loaf of bread, and make many meals out of that for less than it costs some people to go get a fancy coffee or a bag of food from McDonald's. You then have several meals that you can use to fill up. How about a box of pasta and a jar of pasta sauce? Cook a bag of dried beans and add it with some rice, and you can have beans and rice. There are many different kinds of beans. Even if you took 1 pound of beans and cooked them, 1 pound of beans usually equals 3.5 cans. So you're really getting a lot more food when you buy it and cook it from scratch. But if that's not possible, go ahead and pick up some cans. There's a lot of ways to serve canned beans, and there's a lot of ways to serve rice. Spice them up differently, and you're going to have a variety of meals that are very inexpensive. Do you have a box of pancake mix that doesn't require anything but water? That's the easiest way. You stir together the batter, fry it in a pan, and then pour some syrup over it. If you don't have syrup, try spreading a little bit of your peanut butter and jelly. You could even put a little butter, sprinkle it with some cinnamon and sugar. There's different ways that you can make your pancakes tasty for not a lot of money. If you were able to pick some berries, sprinkle those over the top. That's delicious too. Maybe you can get some hot dogs, some buns, and a can of chili and make some chili dogs. And if you have an onion, chop it up, put it on top, add a sprinkle of cheese, however you like to make your chili dogs. That's kind of a fun meal, and it doesn't have to be very expensive. It can be, though, if you start looking at some of the very high-end hot dogs, and some of the buns are getting to be ridiculous. When you're shopping in the store, make sure that you look up and you look down, because all of the foods at eye level are usually more expensive, and if you get way down and look, that might be where you can find some bargains. Bread and cheese, make some grilled cheese sandwiches. Maybe you can serve it with a can of tomato soup. How about some cheese and tortillas? You can make quesadillas and top them with some beans, top them with some salsa. Serve them with a little bit of chicken if you have some left over from some other meal. When I was a child, my mother would make goulash, where she would cook some hamburger, add a can of tomatoes, some macaroni, maybe even some beans. Anything to spice it up that you have on hand. Any kind of spices that you like. Add some onions, green peppers if you have them, but everybody doesn't always have those things. Maybe in your pantry you'll have one of those little shakers of dried onion, and you can shake that in too. Can of tuna, some egg noodles, cream of mushroom soup. You can whip up a tuna casserole. Maybe you have some refrigerator biscuits or a package of just add water biscuit mix, or you have the baking supplies to make homemade biscuits, and stir together some gravy, and you can have biscuits and gravy. It doesn't have to have fancy things in it. It just needs to be hot and filling. How about oatmeal? The big box of oatmeal has 30 servings in it, and it's only a few dollars. You could make a lot of breakfast with that. Top it with whatever you have on hand, a little sugar, a little milk if you like it. I like mine with just raisins and craisins, but you can put anything you want to make your oatmeal the way you like it. Look for the generic types of cereal and some milk. You can have a nice cold cereal breakfast. And I used to get occasionally the ones that were sugary cereals, and I always told my kids those are dessert. You can only have those after dinner. Those aren't ever for breakfast, and they always thought that they were a special treat. How about some macaroni and cheese? You could add some chili with it and have chili mac. Add something like tuna and peas, and you have a type of a tuna casserole. Anything you have left over at the end of the week, you can turn it into some kind of a casserole or soup. Just get creative. You never know what you're going to have. My mother used to make something called slumgullion, and we were like, well, what is that? And it was pretty much whatever there was went in the pot, and that was what we had for dinner by the end of the week. Some people told me in their families they called it shut up and eat, but my mother never spoke like that. So those are just some ideas of how you can get more food if you need it, and some very simple meal ideas of how to have something to eat when money is tight and maybe you are having a struggle. Maybe we'll call them struggle meals. If you have some ideas on how to make struggle meals that can help get your family going, put it in the comments below and help us learn from each other. As preppers, we need to stick together with like-minded people and keep aware of those that you care about and make sure that they have the things they need. Sometimes people don't want to tell you, and if you're concerned that one of your friends maybe doesn't have enough, maybe make an extra casserole and say, oh, I had this left over. Or invite them over to share a meal. Say, let's have a potluck. Why don't you bring a can of green beans and I'll make everything else. There are all kinds of ideas that we can help each other without just giving a hand out. We can give a hand up. Anytime we can help somebody better their life, it makes us all in a better place in life. If you enjoyed my video, please share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.